board game, or Aussie slang? Well, we're gonna show you some words that we usually use in board games, or slang that we use in Australia because we are in Australia. And hello everyone, I'm Stella and this is Tarrant from Meeple University. And let's go. Drafting. Drafting is board game slang, of course.
Of course. And I think one of the things that what we'll find, certainly what I find, I don't think there is very much Australian specific board game slang.
I don't think so either.
I think it's, I guess a lot of the terminology has developed in a very global sort of way. Because slang comes over time, right?
Yeah, because there are not that many board gamers in Australia yet. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and I mean, we're very well known for sticking an O on the end of words, for
maybe
example.
that's a giveaway.
Yeah, it's a big part of Aussie slang, but a lot of that comes from like street cries in the 1900s.
Yeah.
You can't just invent the word meepo out of it.
Meepo.
So,
Drafto. Okay, let's do this one. Drafting is a board game slang, of course. I mean, it could be like drifting, but that's to do with car, and that's completely different. It's drafting, which is
the taking of cards and the taking of things.
Yeah.
You would hear that around Australia as well.
Drafting.
Not in a game context necessarily, but sports drafting.
Okay,
things like that.
yeah. That's actually true, but it's not a specific Aussie slang. Obviously, we've got this one, Meeple.
Meeple, yes, very much a board gaming
Very
term.
much, which is a my people. It actually comes from my people.
Yep.
Which is a token that you control. Next is bits.
Bits. I think bits is very
board games.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't think we say bits that often in Australia. It's more of a British thing.
Bits ball. Bits, like your bits, your pieces. Brain.
That's certainly board gaming.
Well, if you would say brain burner, it could be Australian or Ben Penny. Or even shorten it. So, Brian. Like, Australians like to shorten things. Bloody oath.
Yes.
You would think it's a board game term. It was a board game victory condition, but it's not.
It's a term when you forget whether you own a card in a region when you're playing a.
Don't let Tarrant fool you this time.
Yes. No, very much. And
what does that mean, Tarrant? Bloody oath. Like,
well,
bloody oath. That's how you say it usually.
yeah, it's kind of it's a way of making something less rude and then more rude again. So
Yeah.
an oath is a rude word.
Yeah.
So it's like,
It's not a
well, I'm
rude
not
word.
going to say a rude word. I'm just
This is a
going to
game
say
called oath.
I'm just going to say an oath.
Okay.
But then I'm going to use a rude word to describe said oath.
Okay. Hopefully you get introduced to a little bit of Australia, so you can learn this before you come to Australia. Anyways, bludger.
Bludger, that would be a
That would be Australian slang
that would be
for
a
sure.
slang for a lazy person. Unless you were playing a Quidditch board game, then it would likely be a
Bludger.
So that's the ball, or the one that throws the balls. At the
It's like
other.
if you're bludging, you just like lazing around, right?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
general one.
Yeah, that's it. Catch up.
Now
Well,
that could be both.
They could be both because if you spell it this way, it's board game. Catch up mechanic, right? You're catching up
Yep.
the points to try to, catch up and less difference and win.
Yeah. But it's also a catch up. I can have a catch up with somebody if I
Let's
go
catch up.
out and meet them.
That's
for
actually
coffee.
both. That is one we found one that is both.
Is that Australian? I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I would have
Catch
to
up.
think.
Let's catch
We
up.
certainly say it.
No, I usually say
kind
with
of catch
people,
up.
let's catch up. I think it's not Australian, but it could be both board game and a slang.
It's both.
Both. Crunchy.
Crunchy.
What's crunchy?
So, spell it with an IE. It's a type of chocolate bar.
That's true. But this is crunchy, as in a crunchy game, as in like brain burning game.
Yes.
Maybe.
Or a description for a biscuit.
Crunchy. But it's not Australian slang. Next. Pips. Dice pips? Sport game, surely.
Most likely, I think pips. You have pips in fruit.
Yeah, but it's not Australian slang. That's the key difference.
True.
It's board game slang. Downtime. Well, let's go down. No, that's downtown.
Which is not Australian slang.
Which is not Australian
We do
slang.
not use
Downtime.
We do not use the word downtown.
No, we don't. So this
in the
is.
centre of the
I
city.
think this is board game slang for sure.
Very.
Yeah, downtime. Like we use it a lot. Well, okay, this game has got a lot of downtime. Means that a lot of time passed between players. So you have to wait for your next turn.
Yeah. I think it's a common enough term in the English language, but
Yeah.
it's been very much taken as slang by board gaming.
That's true. Fiddly.
Fiddly, that would
Be board game also.
from a slang
hang on.
concept, that would be board
Yeah.
gaming.
Like something that is a lot of components and it's a bit hard to move and you have to be careful moving it. Fiddly, I think. And next is buggered.
That is.
Buggered is tired. It's Aussie slang.
It's tired these days, yeah. It's not what it was back in the day. A bit British.
was it back in
bit
the day?
British, this one as well.
Buggered. I'm buggered. It's like, oh, I've run 10 kilometers and now I'm buggered.
Yes, this was quite a rude word 50 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I played 10 board games today. Now I'm buggered. Is that Aussie slang?
Aussie
I
and
can't see it's a rude word.
and British as well.
Okay, let's move on.
Yes.
Cobber.
Cobber.
It's an Aussie slang. The way you say it.
Very retro Aussie slang.
What does
It's
that mean?
something that it's just a term of endearment. It's something that you would call somebody else, like in the pub. Or
Oh. Hi, Tarrant Cobber. It's not like that though.
say, hey, Cobber.
Hey, Cobber.
It's just a very just a term of endearment.
It's like if I call you, hey, Smelly.
No,
As
it's
example.
It's not like that at all. Because it's just a generic word and not a mean thing to say.
Okay, it's not a mean thing. It's term and endearment. Or hi, Smarty. Or hi.
But this is just a random name.
That's a random name.
like
okay,
dude.
That's good. Oh, like hey, dude. Hey, bud. Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is coldie.
Coldie.
It's a coldie. Grab a coldie.
Yes.
That's a
Cold beverage of
Aussie
some description.
slang. Yeah, grab a coldie because in Australian summer, especially in parts of Australia, it could be really hot. Grab a coldie. Is it like 6-pack beer or not?
I think it would just be one.
Just one.
One to start with.
One beer to start with.
I don't think there's any board gaming context
how do
for
you-
coldie.
I don't think so. Crikey.
Crikey.
Crikey. Yeah, of course, it's Australian slang.
Meaningless exclamation that something has happened.
What's the equivalent of non-Australian slang?
Gosh.
Oh, golly gosh. Something like that. Oh, gosh. Crikey. Is that like exclamation for... Yeah, oh gosh. Dag. Is that a board game piece? No, I'm kidding.
No, that would be
It's a dag.
a dim person.
A dim person's like, oh, I'm a dag, for example.
Yes.
No, is that Aussie slang though?
I think it is. Yes.
It is
I
a
don't,
dag.
I think this is probably one of those words that the rest of the world learns through Bluey.
Ah, okay, Bluey the cartoon.
Yeah. And then, of course, you actually told me to put this away earlier, not knowing that this was coming. But of course, if you've got the clothing tag popping out the back of your neck, then you are a tag dag.
A tag dag. Oh, there you go. So a tag dag means that you got that. I didn't know that. There you go.
And it's pretty close to polite
good
to
tag
walk
dag.
up behind someone and say tag dag and put their tag back in.
I usually just say, oh, your tag's showing.
Yep.
Tag
You
dag.
just call someone
There
a
you go.
tag dag.
Dag. Macca's. It's so Aussie.
It is. It's always a. It's
Isn't they call it Macca's in America as well? It's McDonald's.
It's
We call it
McDonald's. It has
Macca's.
some other nicknames, but yeah, Macca's is a very Australian one.
Macca's.
And
They
it
call
is.
it as if there's R at the end though. Macca's.
Yeah, and it's actually advertised that way these days in
Yeah.
Australia. There are McDonald's stores that just say Macca's underneath the arches. It's just the way it is. And it's also the nickname for any person whose last name starts with Mc. Well, Macca is the nickname, but then if you have two of them in a room, they become Macca's.
Hopefully Hopefully we show a little bit of Australian culture as well here, guys.
There's an advertisement, a football advertisement where they just got a whole bunch of players together whose names have Mc in them, and they just go around saying, "Hi Macca, hi Macca, hi Macca,"
and all the Maccas.
And then one guy comes in and says, "Hi Macca's like brownie," and then he just lifts up 2 McDonald's bags.
Well, if you go to America, would you be understood if you say, "I'm gonna get some Maccas"?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
you would be.
Let us know, please. Like any of these, I would like to know if you think these are not board game slang or these are not Australian slang. Please let us know. Wherever you are, whether you're in America, you're in Australia, you're other part of the world, please let us know. Because, I want to know if they go to, the next Gen Con and say, "Hey, I want to get Maccas." So, like, people will look at me funny, like, "What is that? Maccas? Excuse me? What?" Or like, "Oh yeah, Maccas, I know that." I need to know. Pissed. Aussie slang. It means that you are upset.
It could mean upset. It could mean drunk. It could
That's
mean it could mean you have just used the restroom.
You're just pissed.
It is a very
it's a very broad term, depending
very
how.
versatile term.
So if you come, it depends how you look. Like you're like you look angry. Like, "I'm pissed with Tarrant." So I'm angry with Tarrant. It's like going like with alcohol in your hand. Like, "I'm pissed. I'm so pissed. Like I'm drunk." Why is it like that though?
I don't know. As a very versatile word, it's been adopted into a number of uses.
Yeah.
Not the most polite of the words on this list.
It works. Reckon. Reckoning. Reckoning is not reckon. Reckon is think in this context. Is it an Aussie slang? I reckon.
I think it's.
I reckon it is.
I think it's broad. I think it's more broadly used, but I think
Originally.
I think it was a very Australian way of phrasing something for quite some time. Less common these days. I don't hear reckon very often. I don't think people.
I reckon I heard reckon a lot. More than you.
Perhaps.
I reckon you would like this board game because it has fill in the blank. Fill that blank, whatever that is.
Yeah, it could be very regional as well. Of course, where the cities in Australia are quite separated from each other, and they do have some linguistical differences.
I reckon I agree with that. Server. That is a service station in Australian language. It's a slang.
Petrol station.
A gas station. Yeah.
Servo.
Don't think it's recognized at all outside Australia.
Yeah, that wouldn't be. If I said servo anywhere else, only the mechanical engineers would be thinking, because that's what is that? It's like a thing. It's like a robot that moves in one direction, like in a single.
Really?
It's a type of mechanical device, a servo.
Oh, it may be. It's like is it a servant? But it's a nickname of servant. Not really.
Not sure where it got its name from.
There you go. Hand limit. It's a board game. Board game slang, for sure. It's hand limit. But like, what is hand limit? If people don't play board games, when you say hand limit, like, what? It's like...
I'm trying to think of any context it could otherwise be. Perhaps if you were doing a pony race, maybe there would be a limit on the horse size, and that could be a hand limit, since you
but like horse,
have a bit of a horse racing.
Limit.
A bit of a horse racing
and horse racing
history in this country, but it
yeah,
tends to be
big in Australia.
Tends to be much more weight and age than
that's actually
size.
true. Hand limit. It's basically the number of maximum hands you can hold in your hand.
Cards you can hold.
Cards, sorry, hands. I can hold 5 hands. Maximum number of cards you can hold in hand. And usually you want to gear towards higher, because that means gives you flexibility in board game terms. HP. Well, in Indonesia, it's handphone. That's how you call cell phone, aka mobile phone. Mobile phone in Australia, cell phone in America, handphone in Indonesia, or HP. But in this case, it is
Hearty points.
in Steam Up or
Health
hit point or or health point. Oh, actually, yeah. Hit point and health point.
There you go.
There you go. I think probably in RPG terms it is health point, but also hit point. How do
Yeah,
you
very
differentiate
interchangeable. I'm sure I've interchanged the two in many videos.
that? Yeah, that's true. Kingmaker. It sounds Aussie, but it's not, isn't it? It's board game slang. So what's a kingmaker? You're kingmaker. You're kingmaking.
Someone who can decide the outcome of a game based on an action that has no bearing on their own position.
Yeah, there you go. Meaty. It sounds Australian. Is that Australian slang as well? I know this is a board game term because a game is meaty means that a game is
got a lot to
It's got a lot
involved. It's got a lot to think about. It's got a lot to consider. Like if you were
meaty.
If you had something with a lot of meat on it, that would take a lot of effort to process as food.
But it's also meaty as in if you gain, say, lamb shank, it's meaty, or it's meaty means that but it's not Australian slang.
Yeah, I can't think of any specific context where it's
Minis.
Minis, that's only board gaming, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any Aussie slang that minis. Miniatures, short for miniatures. See, it's shortened as well. Miniatures, minis.
Yep. I mean, mini miners as a car. That's there's a car that would be a mini, but that's not Australian specific.
Minis is miniatures. Point salad. And you would think that it's a type of salad, but it's not. It's a board game term. It means that there's a lot of ways to get points.
Yes, there is no Australian point salad. There's no.
No, it's not Caesar salad. It's not ranch salad. It's
They didn't come up with a specific type of new salad at the Hobart Casino and call it the West Point salad.
It's also a board game name, no?
And a board game name.
There you go. Point salad. Real time. Wow. It's definitely board game slang, but is it Australian word? No, it's not Australian. It's real time. So a game of real time, usually a game where there is timer and you need to complete tasks by the end of the timer.
Yes, rather than turns.
Rather than turns, not turn-based. Real time.
Yep.
Okay. Rondelle.
It's a bit of a fancy word to be Australian slang.
I think so too. It's a board game slang, definitely. What is a rondelle?
We just call it a wheel.
How do you explain rondelle? Rondelle movement? Rondelle mechanic? Where you can come back to a certain action, but you have to go around?
Yeah, you've got a single path to go on.
Yeah, that's rondelle. Selfie.
Shelfie.
Shelfie, sorry. Shelfie, not selfie. Now,
selfie, I think that word is Australian derivation.
Is it?
I think that was a gift or possibly curse that we gave to the world.
What?
I think I read that somewhere.
It's like selfie is taking your own photo.
Because I remember when it didn't have that name. I remember.
What is it called?
I remember I used to call it an arm's length photo of yourself.
That's such a long
or just an arm's length photo.
Long description.
I remember trying to describe them. How long ago? 15 years ago, and there not being a word for it. And now it's such a widespread word.
Selfie.
That
we're talking about selfie, right? Not shelfie.
Selfie, yeah. I mean, now it's such a widespread word that that often people will say selfie instead of photo, even if it's not a selfie, because they're so used to the term.
Yeah, that's actually true. Take a photo of themselves is a selfie now.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be arm's length. Like right now, we can just like, hey, selfie. No?
I don't know. Does that count as a selfie?
Well, you just say that taking photo means selfie. Anyhow, let us know in the comments.
Shelfie is very board game.
Please let us know in the comments as well if you have any other ideas and suggestions. But yes, I agree. Shelfie is totally a board game. It's basically like a selfie, but showing your board game collections or board games that you just got from a con hall.
Yes.
Yeah, a hall. Hall is another one. Hall is a board game term.
Con hall is how Australia got founded, I suppose. Modern Australia.
Really?
Convicts got hauled from Britain to...
Slog.
Slog, that is a Steve Waugh cricket shot.
I'm sure it has a different meaning as well.
Well,
It's a
it
slog.
means
It's not like a...
tough, hard effort.
Yeah, okay, a slog. It's a slog. It's like... Use it in a sentence, Tarrant. It's been...
Steve Waugh hit a wonderful slog over
No, that's...
mid-wicket for 4.
But that's if you know cricket. Outside cricket.
It was a hard slog walking through 12 miles of mud.
Thank you. Tap. It's a tap dance, but it's not Aussie slang. I think
It's the thing you get water from, isn't it?
I think it came from Magic the Gathering. Probably.
Yes, right.
Come on, surely you know. It's a board game slang. Tap means like to turn a card 90 degrees to indicate that you've used it.
Yeah.
I think.
Magic must own that. Magic must own that word, though.
Yeah, probably.
It's a funny one. You see, any other game I've seen that has that mechanism, they will have some other word for it.
Okay.
Lorcana's a new one. That's exerting. It's very often it's exhausting. Things like
but
that.
tap is such a easy word.
I have not seen tap written in any other rule book.
Okay.
Trash, on the other hand, Dominion brought the word trash to
yeah.
us, and that is completely genericized across any deck builder where you
should
draw
probably-
cards from the game.
I don't know, it should be
Not any
trash.
deck builder,
Yeah.
because often that has another name in the book, but in common usage, completely genericized.
Absolutely agree. Hey, how about take a risk and ask Google what tap is? Hey Google, what is tap?
On the website merriam-webster.com, they say, a device consisting of a spout and valve attached to the end of a pipe to control the flow of a fluid, faucet. 2. A liquor drawn through a tap. People also sometimes ask me, what does tap mean? Do you want to hear the answer?
I don't know if you heard that. It's basically describing a water
It's
tap.
where you get water from, like I said at the very start.
Yes, correct. All right. What is that? U-N-E.
I have no idea what that is.
It's a Yui. It's a U-turn.
Checking me now?
It's
Oh,
U-turn. Yui.
Right.
Yeah. So doing a U-turn, especially in Victoria, is okay. If it's not, says do not U-turn, and we call it a Yui.
Doing a UE.
Doing a Yui.
Yes, that's a very
It's very Australian.
very
like,
Australian thing to do.
especially Melbourne, no? Because it's a very Victorian.
Well, once you cross the border, you're not allowed to do U-turns
UE.
unless the intersection specifically tells you can.
UE.
Whereas we can do them everywhere.
Stuffed. Stuffed chicken. Stuffed turkey.
Something is broken, it is stuffed.
It's Australian slang.
Yeah.
Or tired. I am stuffed. Like, using the different example, like the same example that I used before. I've run 10 kilometers, now I'm stuffed.
Yes, there's no... the only board game usage for that I can think of is when I put the Devia Games game away, the box was stuffed. You have to be very efficient.
Oh yeah, stuffed as in like very full. Well, by the way, if you've been enjoying this, if you could please hit the like button and comments. I'd like to know what you think of it, or should we make more of these type of videos? We really appreciate it. Next time is wrapped. Next one is wrapped.
Wrapped, happy, Australian.
Australian slang, yeah, wrapped. Wrapped.
Is it just Australian? I'm not sure.
I'm wrapped, I'm happy. I'm so wrapped, like I just won that Magic the Gathering tournament. I'm wrapped.
In raptures. If I know my Simpsons correctly, that is the Australian slang for a bullfrog.
They're like kangaroos, but they're reptiles, they is.
We have them in America. They're called bullfrogs.
What? That's an odd name. I'd have called them chazwazzers.
What? Is it?
No.
What is that? I know what you're talking about.
But
Any
then-
Simpson fans? Let us know.
But of course, this is the first player selecting app if you don't want to use what the rulebook tells you to use.
This is getting more popular. I was like, let's twice it. That's usually how we use it in a sentence. I'm like,
It's true, it has turned
What's-
into a verb.
I know, let's twice it. What's twice it? It's an app on the phone that determines first player. So you just put your fingers and it will pick randomly.
Yes. Or it can split you into teams, or even pick more than one person, which I would wager 80% of Twizy users wouldn't even know.
I have seen Tarrant playing Twizy solo game.
Sometimes I'm bored.
How would you play a solo Solo game was choicy. You see like, oh, which finger will go first? Okay. Should I pick my nose with which fingers? I don't know. Why would you do that? Isn't that like this tappy game, like crossing road?
Yeah, sometimes I just need to wind down before sleep.
So you play twice solo. Who does that? I mean, if you do it, there's nothing wrong with that, but go for it if you want to play twice. You want to play...
Maybe I just like the noise. Da-ding.
Oh yeah, it's like a soothing noise. Oh, and that's all the words. Thank you so much everyone for watching and see you next time. Bye!